Agile projects really center around these 4 value statements in the Agile Manifesto. This was written by some software development experts, and it mainly relates to IT and software development, but I would encourage you to know this for your exam. The first idea is that individuals and interactions are valued over processes and tools because we want to focus on the people. Big part of your exam is the people. Now, processes and tools are still going to be utilized, but we're really focused on people. Projects are completed by people. People do the work, not just having the framework, the processes, and the tools. So Agile projects are people-driven. So we focus on the people first. People complete the projects, people negotiate, people do knowledge work. So knowledge work is a new term. We're talking about things like if you were to write a technical manual or develop a piece of software, that's all knowledge work. So you might see somebody sitting at their desk and they're not doing anything. Well, yeah, they are. They're thinking or they're coding or they're writing. Now, processes are repeatable results. So you think about the process of, this is a Scrum iteration here, you think about the process of Scrum, it's repeatable. Or if you think about the process of identify stakeholders, you have an approach to get that same result. Agile is not a machine. Agile is flexible and adaptable. Our next value to know is working software over comprehensive documentation. Agile wants to deliver value. There's really no value in documentation, or very little value in documentation, especially with software. Value is about satisfying the business need. Documentation, if we have to do it, we want it to be barely sufficient and just in time. We call this at the last responsible moment. Documentation might have to be there because you have an industry or organizational requirement, but there's really very little value in documentation. So we want to beware documentation. So I get pretty harsh here. I say documentation adds no value. It might be little value. I mean, really, who reads the end user license agreement? Who reads reports? So if you have a very heavy documentation, are people really going to read it? So oftentimes documentation is wasteful. Contracts, all right, are kind of unusual in Agile because contracts want to know specific things. Well, Agile, we can't always be specific. So we favor customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Agile has to be flexible, accommodating, and willing to change. Contracts are just the opposite. They're rigid, uncooperative, very specific. So in an Agile environment with contracts, they get kind of tricky. So contracts have to accommodate change. And we have to think about, okay, am I just being right or am I doing the right thing? So contracts, Agile is uncertain. Contracts are legal documents. Contracts want things that are certain. They want to define everything in the project. Well, Agile is going to change. It's flexible. So contracting is tough in Agile. We want to respond to change over following a plan. Agile welcomes change. Predictive projects, they're going to plan everything in advance, like the work breakdown structure. Now, Agile projects are change-driven. We have lots and lots of many different changes. And then Agile projects, we have uncertainty up front. So change is expected and welcome in an Agile environment.